All right, let's look at some paint chipping, and this is similar to the rust that we created before, but a little bit more elaborate. Let's just go ahead and switch over here to the library. I've got this metal texture inside of here. Could probably make it a bit smaller, and what I'll do is just hit F8, and we'll call this paint chipping mask. How about that? Let's go ahead and put it over just this polygon shape so we get kind of a reference point. Alright, so I'm just going to dive inside of here, and what I'll do right away is make a layer up above here, and I'm just going to shade this so it's about 40% black. So then we've obviously got a paint chip that is extending over or across this entire shape. And let's go ahead and lock that layer. We can lock this layer too so we don't have to worry about it. And then let's go ahead and create a mask layer. I'll name this one mask layer. Alright, just grab the pen tool and feel free to have some fun with whatever shape you come up with here. Don't feel like it needs to be too perfect. Alright, close it off. And let's fill this in with some color. You guys know by now that I typically like blue for my mask shapes, so I know right away, hey, that's the mask. Alright, I'm going to right click on here, go to mask, and it's only going to envelop that first layer right there, so I'm going to need to drag that one inside of it. Alright, so now we've got something like this. And let's make it a little bit more elaborate. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in some. I'm going to unlock the mask layer, and I'm going to take the paintbrush tool. Oops. There we go. Be sure I'm actually drawing on this. And just going to draw across it. Oh, and I definitely want a color other than that mask color. And it's okay if you draw a little bit out like that. That's kind of some of the things that we're going to be doing here. So trying some things like this. And then just delete that off of the mask. Step back out of here, see how it's looking. Definitely got a little bit more detail to it. Another fun thing you can try is taking a circle, just remove the stroke from this, and drawing inside of this. And of course, once we delete this, I think it'll look kind of nice and gritty. Deleting the circle can give you some sort of sharp, inlets, I guess, like this. Do some on the bottom too. Aha, looking a lot grittier. In fact, those look so good. Let's go ahead and put them on some of these other places. Oh, there we go. That looks nice as well. Some little parts of it just separated from the main chunk of it. And another thing we could do is put kind of like an island in here. Something like that. I might just add in some extra points here instead of, there we go. And here's a nice little trick we can do. Go over here, go to bevel. That looks horrible, but let's set this to 1 and 1 and 1, and then let's just take the strength down a little bit. And then I'm going to flip the angle around. There we go. In fact, let me try this at 0. Hitting tab to go all the way through everything and somehow skip that one. Alright. There we go. I think this looks kind of nice. So it gives sort of the appearance that that I think this is chewed out of the paint layer, right? So you're kind of seeing this little bit of shadowing over here, assuming our light source is still in this top left, and then maybe this lighter part is the is from the paint itself. Okay, so I think that looks nice. And another way we could kind of emphasize this would be to, let me take this off of the layer with that and to draw underneath here, let's grab just kind of a lighter color. And then do something like this. So maybe in a few spots it's like the paint has just been lifted up. Oops, don't want purple, that's for sure. There we go. And I think we need to keep to our color scheme. There we go. So something sort of like this. And this is kind of how you could do things like bullet holes as well. You kind of like lift up the metal on one side or on both sides. So let's just call it paint lifting up. And yeah, we could do that in a few places. Even be as lazy as just copying the shape. If we do it over here though, let's be sure that we tint this a little bit. Go to properties, tint it, yeah, just something like that. I feel like I want to do one more negation from the mask. Just kind of running across here. So maybe a line that actually sort of bends with that, bends at that change in the shape itself. There we go. I think that looks nice. And you know, what's looking particularly good to me is these little spots right here. So let's do a few more of those. I'll just copy and paste this shape. Give it a few turns here and there. Flip it around. And let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's looking very gritty. I like that. It's showing some real damage there. Okay, so feel free to take this one and bring it over into your library with everything else. One thing I could point out too is that by separating this from the rest of it, you could obviously tint these separately. So if you're not using a yellow base color for your next robot, it's easy to just grab those and give them a different color. So anyway, let's leave it in this file as well, but we'll put it into our parts library, and you can see I was kind of playing around with one right before I recorded this tutorial, so we've got at least 2 good ones in there. And another thing you could do is just duplicate this and take out this layer if you wanted it to seem a lot more flat, right? And also feel free to just kind of flip these. You might even be able to kind of combine them like so. That doesn't actually look horrible. I think that kind of works. And of course adjust the scaling itself. Actually, I'll duplicate this one more time. And another thing you could do is adjust the mask inside of here to make that bigger or smaller, kind of depending on how large of an area this is covering. Okay, so got a lot of stuff built up here.